Why do humans treat some people well and others poorly? If you want to understand this, we must seek answers beyond blaming. First, we look at universal behaviors of all living beings. Then we focus on humans, from ocean to ocean. What universal truths are revealed? That's an ocean in itself. So we'll take some simple bites, simple truths. Humans sort people into treated well or treated poorly categories in surprisingly predictable ways. It's not random. It's not individual. It's about how our brains function. Human evolution, how societies are structured, and how experiences influence perception and behavior. The brain's shortcut system. Like other animals, humans need to make immediate assessments to guide responses. Our brain is built for speed, not fairness. It uses mental shortcuts to quickly determine who is safe, who is valuable, who is threatening. It uses similarity bias. We instinctively favor people who look, think, and behave like us. Familiarity bias. We treat familiar people better because the brain equates familiarity with safety. It locks onto status cues. Humans unconsciously use social status, or what your society defines as positive, like wealth, attractiveness, confidence, popularity, and we treat higher status individuals more generously. Kind of makes sense when you think about it. By understanding social status, hierarchies, be it class, caste, power, you get a picture of who your society has deemed worthy for better treatment. These shortcuts help us navigate complex social environments quickly, but they also create blind spots and unfairness. It allows humans to treat an individual member of an outgroup favorably while not changing our negative perceptions of others in that group. Evolutionary roots. Early humans survived by forming small, tight-knit groups. They had to depend on each other for protection. The survival link is active today in how we treat others. Early humans considered outsiders a potential threat. We have evolved in treating in-group members with favoritism. They protect us. And out-group members with suspicion. Be cautious of them. Contemporary society is far more complex, but the ancient wiring is still in place. That's why people can be kind to one stranger and cruel to another based on tiny clues humans are wired for. Social conditioning. We're all conditioned by the company we keep and are born into. Culture teaches us who deserves respect and who doesn't. Powerful institutions inform humans about who is worthy of respect, driven by media stereotypes. How are certain groups depicted on social media and in the news? Historical or foundational power structures. How are ancient and contemporary governments systems organized to favor some and minimize others? Family and in-group beliefs, from what you learned at the table and what was modeled by those around you. School and workplace hierarchies, just the way we will have always done things. People absorb these patterns unconsciously, even those who believe they're fair, not a prejudice or racial bone in them, because they have friends like that, can behave differently towards some groups because of internalized social scripts. It is not individual choice at play. What we ingest become who we are. Personal experience. Your individual history shapes how you treat others. People who grow up around kindness may extend it widely. Others who grew up around conflict may be guarded or harsh. Trauma can make people hypervigilant, distrustful. When privilege is part of your normal, you may be clueless about the benefits, believing that you gained all because of your efforts. You may become biased about others' lack of achievement. This group may be unaware of how their behavior affects others. Know this: all humans carry invisible stories that influence how they think and behave. Power dynamics. The game is on to win. How do humans treat others based on what they think they can gain or lose? Simple. We treat those with power better because they can reward or punish us. We treat those with less power worse because we assume there's no consequence and they don't figure into our success plan. This is why marginalized groups often experience unearned disrespect, not because they deserve it, but because social messages are sent within their society that they have less leverage. Emotional regulation. This is a fascinating one. What do you feel when you see people who are different than yourself? We can treat them with kindness, dismissal, or poorly. Kindness requires emotional wellness. But when people are stressed, insecure, or overwhelmed, their ability to treat others with consideration shrinks. They find ways to justify their actions by blaming others. It does not take a social scientist to assess that people wear their plight on their face. Happy, secure, smiling people also show kindness. Alas, what do you see on the face of people who are not in a mood to be spoken to? You leave them alone. They may appear angry, no nonsense, intolerant, and have no time for others. We see you. They are telling their story of how society has treated them. They may treat strangers unkindly, and that is not fair, but it is human. Moral development. Do you live in a moral society? What is the human moral compass? Survival was harsh and the focus of early humans. True then and also today. In societies where abundance and leisure is prevalent, where humans can appreciate beauty, they enjoy life. In countries where life is harsh, people may feel unappreciated and they gravitate to countries reputed to be kind and pleasant without regard for how this impacts others. Morality is developed based on underlying principles about the value of human life. Not all societies produce highly moral humans, and not all countries have reached the same stage of moral maturity. Some societies produce people who operate from fear, self-protection, transactional thinking, winning at all costs, while others operate from empathy, righteous principles, a sense of shared humanity. The gap between these levels explains a great deal about human behavior. Patterns. Back to our question, humans treating people well or poorly. Science reports that humans treat others well when they see them as similar, safe, valuable, connected to their identity or goals. People treat others poorly when they see them as different, threatening, low status, irrelevant, outside of their moral circle. It's not pretty, but it is accurate. Daily in social media, examples of these truths jump out. But we also experience clues when we interact with coworkers, friends, family, and strangers. We tend to blame instead of understand. That's why understanding must be grounded in truth. Over the next weeks, let's continue to explore and understand the why of human behavior. Thank you for watching this video. Please like and subscribe. Check out other topics about being human.